remember back when I started learning chords, how difficult and overwhelming it was until I found a few simple practice tricks that made everything click. In a matter of months, I went from searching every single chord on the piano to knowing exactly where to go and creating smooth transition when playing. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple tricks to master every chord and play smooth transition no matter your level. Also, if you'd like to have the PDF version of all these different tools, you can get it for free down below in the description. Alright, before we start, I quickly want to mention something. You don't have to use all these tricks. They're all very powerful, and I actually suggest that you only start by implementing one to your routine and just see how you progress for a few months. Just pick your favorite. Now, for this lesson, I'll be using the dominant 7th chord to share the different ideas, but you can use these tools for absolutely every chord type you're learning. The dominant chord has the 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. And the chord example here, we can go with a C major. So C7 has C, E, G, and a minor 7, which is in this case B flat. So this is really the formula to learn this chord. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So you have to remember this because this is what we're going to be using in all these tools. So the first tool I want to share is one of my favorite one, and it's the chord grid. It's basically placing all the key on a sheet music in a random order, and you follow this grid to practice your chords. So in our case here, I have placed all the chord in this different order here, and you can see that what I want to do is tell myself first, all right, for this one, I will be practicing dominant 7, just like we said, in root position, and I'm gonna follow the chords on the sheet here. So if I follow this, we get this. We have C7, then we have F7, E flat 7, G sharp 7, E7, C sharp 7, B flat 7, G7, F sharp 7, A7, D7, and B7. And you've played all the options that you have over all 12 key in dominant 7 chord. That's how powerful this is. You only have one exercise and you've transposed this concept on all the chords. Now there's different ways you can go with this. So first of all, I started only with my right, but I could be playing the chords in both hands. That's a very good exercise. You could be playing chords in only right or only left. You could be playing with the root, more closer to what we would do in a song, on the left, just like this. Then you switch like this, and you keep going. But where I want to push you is to actually figure out some chord inversion. I'm gonna keep with the dominant 7th chord, but I want to practice all that on the first inversion. The first inversion has the 3rd on the bottom here. So now when I'm placing my fingers and playing the chords, I am actually thinking of the major 3rd to play this. So for example, on C7, we got this, then F7, this one, E flat, this one, G sharp 7, this one. And now it's really making you work in a different way. It's super simple, but it's so effective to practice like this. One last thing for this one, I would strongly suggest that you add a drum loop, a backing track if you like, or even just a metronome to have a tempo in the back when you're practicing. This will make the biggest difference in your playing. And I promise, if you start doing this with the chord type that you're struggling, you're gonna see big results in a matter of days, maybe weeks. Now, if you haven't done so yet, I've created a PDF version of this video, including all the different tools, ideas you can use. And you can get it for free down below in the description. Now, the second trick I want to share is practicing your chords using a chord progression. Chord progression are great because they sound like real songs, so they are usually more pleasant to practice with. Let's take the 1 flat 7 and 4 for the example for today. So you have to start with the root position. So we could go with C, and we can even add our dominant 7 like I mentioned before. So we have C7, then flat 7, we have B flat, keep the 7 on top, and F, we can go with F right here with the flat 7 on top. So it's C7, B flat 7, F 7. All right, very classic chord progression. We've heard that many times in so many songs. Now, what you want to be doing is you want to use chord inversion. That's the important part of this trick. So when you start from this one, let's say we start from the root. The next one is B flat. We could go right here, way closer than going all the way down, all the way here. This one, and for F, we go right here and back to this one. So now you're also practicing chords, the note, the chord inversion, playing music. There's so many different ways you can do. What you want to be doing next is actually change the first chord you're using here to the next inversion. Now everything else is going to change. So we have the 1 for the flat 7, and for the 4, we can go right here and back to 1. All right, one more. We change the inversion for the C, then B flat, then F, then C. And we actually have a fourth one because we have 4 notes. We can start with the minor 7 on the bottom, then B flat, and back right here. So this exercise is so powerful because you feel like you're playing a real song, you're actually practicing different chord inversion, and you can do this with so many different ideas. Now the next trick you can use is the classic circle of fifth because it sounds so good when you're practicing your chords. The circle of fifth looks like this. It's actually just placing all the key on the wheel and moving them with a fifth higher going to the right or a fourth lower going to the left. What we can do with this is just follow this to practice the chord. All you have to do is tell yourself, just like the chord grid, let's pick the root position of my dominant chord. And I'm gonna follow exactly what the circle of fifth is telling us. So we would have C7, then G7, D7, A7, E7, B7, F sharp 7, C sharp 7, A flat 7, E flat 7, B flat 7, and F7. And it will go back to C7. So you can actually just loop this circle and keep going. And every time you do, you can switch chord inversion and do the same idea as a chord grid. Instead of starting from the root chord, go with the first inversion, second, or whatever you're practicing. So this is very useful, very powerful way to practice. Again, add a metronome, a drum loop, something to have a tempo in the back to make sure that you're actually keeping up with finding the chords on the piano. Now, the next tool I want to share with you is using chromatic chords. Chromatic is also very useful to have because you can actually use this to move from one chord to another in a song. Most blues, gospel, or R&B songs actually use this concept all the time. So practicing them, just like the way I'm going to show you, is actually just a plus because you can use them in real songs. We're going to take the dominant chord and we're going to place it in root position first. So we're going to go up a half step every time we play a chord. C sharp, D, and you go up all the way. Again, you can do both. You can move both hands at the same time. It just pick the one that you want to start with. You can do the same thing with chord inversion right here. So we could start from the first inversion and go up. And it changes everything and the way you see and practice your chords. So chromatic chord, very powerful. It's a good way to practice this before implementing into real songs. The last trick I want to share with you is harmonizing the scale using diatonic chords. So if I go back to C major, let's keep it simple here. C major is only the white note right here, so very, very basic. What you want to be doing here is actually create a chord on every single note of the scale. So if I start here, those are going to be all in root position. So we would have and just like this, we're creating new triad chord. The major one, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B half diminished, and we have here 1. So this is a good way to start, and you can either practice your left hand playing the scale, or you can play the chord in both hands. Now where it gets interesting is actually switching chord inversion when you're practicing this. So we start with the first inversion, then we go up like this, like that. All right, and we can do one more with this one. All right, that's for the triad chord, but you could also add a 4th note. And now we have a major 7 on this one. Then we have a 7 here, 7 again, major 7, and you're practicing different chords like this. It really gets interesting when you start transposing this, because you have to think of different sharp and flat in the scale. For example, D major has 2 black key, F sharp and C sharp. If you do the same exercise here, you actually have to think about those when you're practicing. So it's a very good exercise for 2 things. You're practicing chords, and you're also practicing your scales and trying to figure out what key signature you have in each of these scales. So it's more than only practicing the chords. You're doing even some technique and some theory inside of it. Be sure to comment with your light bulb moments from this video. I hope that it leads you to practice your chords smarter and not harder. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.